Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here. We're back. We're doing a best of three Zendikar Rising draft. Well, one of my favorite powerful rares in this format is what we opened. We're on Refuse. I'm fine first picking that. Very strong card. Kind of can just win on its own. Other good picks in here. Dry Disruption I actually like. Good spell land. Spoils of Adventure, good for the party deck. Seagate Banneret, playable warrior. Geyser Mage, good for wizards and party decks. Mind Drain, good for rogues. Also just kind of a card advantage card. Skitter Sneak, playable in rogues. Fissure Wizard for wizards or aggro decks or party decks. Hellions, playable. Visionary's quite good. Sneaking Guide, playable for party. Easy Ooze, I would say. All right, follow-up pick. Well, let's see. In green, there's just a Blight Blade. Scion of the Swarm is maybe the strongest card. Actually, Gloom Hunter is cheaper, but Scion's definitely stronger. They both kind of want to be in the Oran Refuse deck, I guess. You kind of need to gain life to make Scion good. And you do have stuff like Kazandu Nectar Pot to help you do that. This is cheaper and modular, though. I can see the argument for taking the Gloom Hunter over the Scion here. Scion better for the Cleric deck. Gloom Hunter better for Ooze deck, I would think. I mean, they're both good for Ooze deck, but I think this one's a little bit... The fact that you can play this for 2 mana, too, is pretty important. I might just take Gloom Hunter over Scion. Scion's a better card. I want to play Oran Refuse if possible. Usually green is open. Not always, but it's not a highly desirable color for people, I feel like. I think, you know, a lot of the streamers probably said green's the weakest color. Don't play it. Avoid it at all costs. And that kind of makes it open more often. So here, Feed the Swarm versus Vanquish. Feed the Swarm deals with more things, but you have to pay life, which you can't always do. It's definitely one of these 2 cards, though. There's not a green card worth picking here. Shatterskull Minotaur is good. Relic Golem, good for rogues. But yeah, Feed versus Vanquish. This also deals with enchantments. It's probably relevant. I guess I can take the first Feed. It just has more targets. You don't want, like, too many feeds unless you've got the life gain going, though. Okay. Well, here we can take Dauntless Survivor. Great synergy with Ooze. Roiling Regrowth's a good card. Ramps, too. I mean, Roiling Regrowth better than Survivor, but Survivor are going to be better with Ooze. Umara Wizard, good for that deck. I like Shepherd. The Outrider and the Healer are playable. Ascetic is definitely playable. More life gain, too, so I guess would have been more Scion of the Swarm synergy. Roiling Regrowth definitely in a vacuum stronger, and I guess it would let us splash. You can never really have enough 2-drops, but Dauntless Survivor, underwhelming outside of Ooze, but just going Survivor into Ooze is very good. I guess we go for it. I think we're likely just trying to make a Golgari counters deck work here if possible. So we can take the Recovery. It gets our Ooze back. I think that's actually very important. It's also just a random spell land, which is good. I kind of like Relic sometimes. It's a nice speculative pick. Lets you splash if you're in a good position to splash. Like if we open a Phylath or something, I'd be very happy to have Skyclave Relic. I guess that's the same argument for taking the Roiling Regrowth. In fact, a better argument for taking Regrowth because of the landfall capabilities, but other notable picks into the Royal Skulker is just a random 2-drop, but I'm happy enough taking a Recovery here, being able to get Ooze back in case they have the answer. All right. Here, there's Relic Vial for Clerics. I mean, there are black Clerics, and there's green Clerics. Territorial Scythecat with Ooze, though, definitely feels like the correct pick. Even though Relic Vial is a stronger card, I think we're probably just going for counters, trying to really take advantage of this Oran Refuse if possible. So we can take another Survivor. There's also a chance to get the Ascetic, not Aesthetic. Take the Ooze. Easy Ooze. I feel like we're seeing all life gain stuff now that have passed the Scion of the Swarm, but it's not a big deal. I'm still happy with Gloomhunter. I think Gloomhunter's a good card. It also is another way to gain life. But yeah, we'll take the Survivor. I guess we'll just take a bunch of Survivors and look for +1/+1 counter synergies. We got a great pass here in Shadowcat. Shadowcat's a good card in a vacuum. This is where it's at its best, when you have just a ton of stuff that lets you net cards. This looks like a good kite sail deck too, actually. Fly over top with Ooze and let it keep growing. But easy Shadowcat here, very good. Here I think we'll just cut green and take the Zendikar. It's not exactly what our deck wants, but playable in a pinch. Also a sideboard capability. It's got reach. Here we're going to cut black and take the Highborn Vampire. It's a late Spikefield Hazard and Champion. Kind of looks like those colors are open, but I'm pretty happy with the first 10 picks we got. I guess, really, I only have maybe 8 cards I'm very happy to play. This core right now after pack 1 is pretty good. We have basically all synergistic cards. All of our creatures deal with counters, and we've got a way to get our best cards back and a Feed the Swarm. So easy Broken Wings here. We're not going to be a party deck, so we're not going to be able to take advantage of Strength of Solidarity. And Broken Wings is one of the better, maybe the best sideboard card you can get. And I think plenty of commenters would argue main deckable. But I typically don't have space to play Broken Wings, but maybe I will this time. Who knows? Easy, another Broken Wings, I think, easily here. I actually like Ascetic. I don't think it's a bad card. I just think we're going to find enough playables. And there's some matches where you're very happy that you've got a couple Broken Wings you can toss in there. Well, 3's probably good. I can't imagine I would need 4. All right, Turn Timber Symbiosis actually does have some synergy with the +1/+1 counter theme, especially since it can find your Oron Refuse, which would enter as actually a 6/6, I think, because it enters with 3 additional plus the one it enters with. So that's, maybe you just put it on another creature at that point. That makes sense. Otherwise, Vastwood Surge is also a great card for this deck. Some other playable stuff, I guess. And I actually like Spare Supplies more than most, but I think Easy Symbiosis, great card. It's a land, can look for your best creature, in our case, the Oron Refuse. Randomly can find a Gloomhunter as a 4/4 flying lifelink. We actually have good creatures to find with Symbiosis, so I like that. We'll take it. It's also a cool mythic. Can't go wrong with that. Well, Cleric's got synergy in the deck. Not much else for us, actually. I'm fine with the Cleric. I guess it would make our Relic Vial better if we had gotten that. But 5 mana for I guess 4/5 isn't that great, but with the counters, it might be worth our time. Who knows? Maybe we'll get past another Relic Vial. Otherwise, another chance to take the Ascetic. 4/5 is a better body, in my opinion, than a 5/4, but gaining 3 life is no joke. But we'll still go for the counter synergy. There's still plenty of cards we can find that have counter synergies, too. Well, Demon's Disciple's removal, which is actually quite nice. Gloomhunter number 2 would be very good, too. But since we basically only have a Feed the Swarm right now, I think we're going to take the Disciple. Another advantage of taking the Disciple is sometimes you can just sack a 1/1 Survivor, which is good. I guess you can find it off Symbiosis. Bring it in as a 6/4? A 6/4. Each player sacks something. That's good too. Yeah, more versatile with the Disciple. I think the Gloomhunter, I'd be very happy to have it too. Adventure Awaits is probably even playable in here. I mean, we're banking hard on taking advantage of this Oron Refuse. So I don't want to do Feed the Swarm number 2. Like I said, you really can't jam too many of them unless you've got a lot of dedicated life gain. But I'm happy enough to take another Disciple. Certainly playable removal. And if we end up with like a Blood Beckoning or a Thwart the Grave, it can do some pretty awesome stuff there too. So we'll take it. Another Cleric or a Mind Drain. Stomper can get back Symbiosis and Recovery, so it might make the deck too. There's not much here for us. Could take the Mind Drain. I just don't know if another Cleric's... The first Cleric's already kind of underwhelming. Not bad. Playable. But it is basically a 5-mana 4/5 in our deck. Probably just take the Mind Drain, get the card advantage. Or card disadvantage, as it were. Whatever. However you want to look at it. So we could take a Dauntless Survivor here, but Florahedron is... It's tough to go wrong with that card. Being able to ramp to 4 or 5 or 6 or 7, getting that earlier is nice. It's also a land in a pinch. Survivor and Nectar Pot. Survivor a little more appealing, but easy Florahedron, I think. So we can take another Mind Drain. There's Rabid Bite, Survivor, and Hagra Constrictor. All of these are fantastic cards for the deck. I think we're going to opt for the Rabid Bite. We already have 11 creatures. I want some more removal. I wish we had better bodies for removal, but I think we're going to have to take the removal here. I at least want one Constrictor, but that usually is not a highly contested card. That's a late Royal Eruption. Red is definitely open. Mind Drain number 2 or Stomper number 2. I suppose Mind Drain number 2 might be a little more likely. I'd like some actual card advantage spells if possible. We'll see if we get that luxury. So options here. Ascetic, Blightblade, Might, and Spare Supplies. Well, I told you, I like Spare Supplies. Blightblade's got the Death Touch for the Rabid Bite. Doesn't really deal with +1/+1 counter so much. I'm going to go with Spare Supplies just because I like it. So Ascetic versus Brute. Probably Brute. I kind of feel like between Cleric and Stomper, we're kind of good on top end and Symbiosis. I don't really want to play the Brute, but we'll leave it in sideboard for now in case we need it. Consider Adventure Awaits. I mean, maybe there's an argument that it's better than Spare Supplies. Probably not, though. I mean, it's cool that it's better chance of finding the Ooze, but the card advantage you get off of Spare Supplies is... It's hard to go wrong. I like cashing in cards for 2 cards. It also lets... I feel like it lets you play more lands, too. But we'll see. One more pack, and we're doing good. I mean, we've got 3 spell lands already. Base Camp is actually good synergy with Cleric. Outside of that, though, not great. I probably still take it anyway. Especially if I'm playing 18 lands. Just making it so Cleric's 1 better, though, probably not that good, to be honest, but worth a consideration. Last Pick Survivor is a very good sign, since this is actually one of the better cards for what we're trying to do. So I want the Constrictor. I'm going to hope that we can wheel it. I think it's an easy thirst here. Get the removal. Trap Finder is a fun card to play. Takedown is obviously good. Blade Master's good. Geyser Mage, Royal Mage. Feed the Swarm for the right deck. So hopefully we can get this Constrictor back. I think it's a good card for our deck. All right, well, more choices here, all of which are good. Another Disciple, a Sidecat, a Rabid Bite, a Survivor, a Basswood Fortification. I mean, these are all excellent. Hopefully we can wheel the Survivor. We still don't really have great bodies for the Rabid Bite. Sidecat is a nice finisher for the deck. I kind of want to take this Fortification, though, because I think we're going to get enough playables, and this is a nice combat trick, especially in this deck that gets value off counters. So I think I'm going to opt for the Spell Land, and we're going to wheel something good, probably. So Sproutling, actual kicker cards we have to bring back. 2. Just 2 cards, so I don't think this is a Sproutling deck. Regrowth we could take. We do just have the Ooze. It can also ramp us. I might just take Subtle Strike, though. It's got counter synergies. It's also, you know, it's a good combat trick. We still need some more creatures. I think we can wheel some. I'll take it. We got blown out by this in the last draft, so Definitely can't underestimate how good it is. Stinger, I don't think we have the rogues to support that. Same with Skulker, don't really need it. Probably don't need the Brood either. We've already got one sitting in the sideboard, but how about Amulet? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Not really enough pieces to make that Relic Amulet work. Well, I guess Pathway would be another way to make the Cleric better, but I think we have to take the Colony here. It's too good for what we're trying to do, especially the passive, giving all your +1/+1 counter creatures trample. So we'll take that. And we need a couple more creatures, I think. Here's a pretty easy Blood Beckoning. I want more ways to get back our Oron Rifu since it's pretty easily our strongest card. And even though we already have the recovery, getting the Beckoning too is going to be good. Just more value cards. Still hopeful we can wheel a couple creatures. And if not, I can throw in a couple Brutes. So maybe just take the Rebirth. Blightblade is playable. It's just not particularly exciting. Even with the Rabid Bite. Rebirth is actually good. One of the issues with it is it kind of resets +1/+1 counter cards, which isn't great, but it's hard to go wrong with spell lands. We can take the Vanquish here, or we can take the Predation, or we can take the Nectar Pot. Don't really need the Nectar Pot. Don't really need the Vanquish either, but I guess we'll take it. Predation is fine, and it's a spell land, but Vanquish can deal with things, so probably take it. All right, got that Constrictor back. That's good news because it's very playable for us. All right, got the Survivor back. Also good news. Now we have 15 creatures and all that. Maybe play the Hunger. I mean, this is definitely a deck that could benefit from it, but it might just be a better sideboard card. None of these cards matter for us. So I usually feel 18 lands, especially when you have a lot of spell lands, just because it's a little harder to get flooded when you have a bunch of spell lands, because you can always just dual purpose them. So I'm fine with playing 18 lands with all these spell lands. Yeah, and we got a lot too. We got 5. So 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we basically just make one cut and we can call it a deck. And it should probably be a spell, not a creature. Kind of like all of our spells, though. I can cut a Mind Drain. I don't need to play 2. But everything else looks good. No complaints. More green than black. We do have double black. We want to be able to cast that with. Double black here. Other than that, that's it, really. We have 4 green spell lands. So I still think we're going to do the extra green. We have the triple green with the Symbiosis too, so important to note there. So I think that means, yeah, we're going to do 10-8. All right, and there you have it. Green-black Golgari +1/+1 counter deck with a couple random big finishers. Not bad. All right, we'll run it like this. We'll see you round 1. I suppose I do have the choice to do base camp for the Cleric. Let's see. I don't think we have enough. We have 4 warriors, a couple clerics. I don't think it's worth it. Otherwise, it's just a tap land that taps for colorless. I don't think it's good enough to get the extra counter on Cleric. There's nothing I want to run instead of Cleric, is there? Would I rather just run like a Brute? Probably not. I think this is fine. All right, let's go to round 1 here. All right, round 1, we'll play first. Yeah, it's a keep. It's a little bit slow, but we have our colors. We can make them discard. Turn 4 Shadowcat, not the most intimidating, but we're also not necessarily a beatdown deck, so we can afford to be a turn or 2 behind. Oh, well, it's a good draw. So we'll jam the Ooze now. Nice thing is we have the Rebirth too, so we can actually Mind Drain and still... Yeah, that's pretty cool actually. So play land attack. So they can flash in whatever. Flash in a rogue, and then we'll Rebirth, protect our dude. And can Mind Drain our opponent's better use of mana, but I think we got to take advantage of this Survivor for now. Because if they can't kill that Ooze right away, then they're going to be in some trouble. And even if they can, we have some cards to get it back, so... Infiltrator, all right. And they're attacking too, which is unexpected. Yeah, that's a good draw. So we can bash in here. I might actually just play the Shadowcat. I've got some decent choices here. Like I can just kill the Infiltrator. I feel like if they had removal, they would have played it. This keeps them off drawing a card. And it maximizes my mana too. The other option is just Mind Drain, but then they can still hit us and dig for something. Or the Shadowcat, which we kind of feel like they probably don't have removal. If they had removal, like I said, they would have dealt with Ooze. This still lets them draw off Infiltrator, but it also puts a 3/3 down, and if they kill our Ooze, we just draw a card. Which is very good. I think I'm actually going to go Shadowcat, just because we're kind of on the offensive here. And they have to tap a rogue to get in with the Infiltrator anyway. So, like, this lets them draw a card to maybe find a way to maybe deal with Ooze. But even if they do, we still have, what, 6 power coming at them, plus making them discard. And we have removal and more flyers. Not to mention we draw a card off them killing Ooze because of the Shadowcat. So it's looking good. All right, so they maybe have like Into the Royal or something. Either way, we're not playing around it. Let's smash in. So they did have the Deadly Alliance. We can sack in response, but then I can't Blood Chief's Thirst the Infiltrator. I wonder if I really care about that. I don't think that I do. I think we sack the Ooze to get the extra damage going. Plus we draw a card. And we ripped a black, so I can actually deal with the Infiltrator now, which is also very good. So we'll get in for 7. Kill Infiltrator. Leaves him in a pretty tough spot. Plus we have 6 mana to get this out too. Thankfully that's not that big of a deal. They take less damage, but they're not going to be drawing off that Infiltrator. This is an opportunity to mind drain them too, but... Oh, I guess I don't really have a choice because... Alright. Because I can't play the land. So I'm making get rid of their hand. Which was 2 spells too, which is nice. We've got lethal on board. We have Blood Chief's Thirst. I'm not sure why they tapped to make it unblockable. We're tapped out, so they definitely did not need to do that, especially since this would make a good chump blocker. Looks like they maybe found some removal. Alright, that's good news for us. So, 1 card left. We can... Let's see. Got some choices here. Like, I could play the Gloom Hunter. I don't quite have enough to... Because this is a 3-coster, and this is going to look okay. I'd have to pay 4 to do that. I was seeing if I had enough mana to play the Gloom Hunter for 2, sag it, and kill that, and I don't think that we do. So I think we're going to have to Thirst that Infiltrator, which I'm kind of okay with. We'll see if they chump here anyway. They very well could. And they do. So now we'll just deal with Infiltrator. And pass. Could have played the Gloom Hunter, but in case they have an answer for Shadowcat, it might still be more valuable to... Yeah, that's good too. So I can Disciple and get in for 4. But I think we'll just attack. I can threaten lethal by doing the Gloom Hunter. But, I mean, they still have 2 cards in hand. Alright, now they're down to 1, which is good. Let's play the Stomper and just get another huge mana threat out there. We don't need to bounce any lands. Actually, because they're... I think I actually will bounce a land because... they could mind drain us, and it would be nice to keep something. Alright. So playing against rogues. They have Sky Dancer for Broken Wings, but otherwise they're just playing some kind of random stuff. Deadly Alliance and Feed the Swarm. At least a couple removal spells. Might be worth our time to do the Hunger. Mind Drain actually paid off pretty nicely there. If I want to do Hunger, what do I cut for it? I can consider the Spare Supply since this draws us a card as well. Vanquish is nice. It actually deals with their Infiltrator. I don't think we're doing Broken Wings yet. I need to see more for that. So I'm probably okay cutting a spare supplies for a hunger. It also is a random combat trick, as well as protection from removal, so a little less card advantage now, but some protection. Well, I think this is a Snap Maul. Only one lander, and this one is actually just fine. We're going to have to play the Symbiosis as a land, but I'm okay with that. Probably pitching the... This is actually kind of tough. Might just be the Blood Beckoning. I like the card advantage, but I want to be able to hit my land drops too. Oh, Rune Crab's good. Thankfully, we've got the answer for it. So this is the choice. I guess we're doing Symbiosis into land Florahedron. Yeah, I think that makes sense. It's a cool looking Rune Crab. Well, mill 3 lands, probably not the worst for us. Why are you attacking? Alright. Demon's Disciple, also good. Let's get the Florahedron down for now. Well, no black mana from our opponent yet. And we have access to 4 mana. I think we're going to try and Vanquish. Alright. So I'm not going to attack because of Zulaport Duelist. I kind of want this Florahedron. It's going to let us get a turn 5 Gloom Hunter. Alright, I suppose we can probably pitch... Disciple's not really getting any better with an Acquisitions Expert out, so I think I'm okay pitching that. Survivors, not bad. Can play a couple of them. Just as 2/2s? Is that what the plan is? I suppose so. Could make one a 3/3. Is that better? Could be. But based on their board, maybe just a couple 2/2s right now is okay. I guess I could have pumped the Florahedron and attacked, but I don't love that. Alright, Subtle Strike's a good rip, actually. Alright, I'm kind of happy they have the Duelist. It's going to make this better, I think. So, guess we'd rather kill the Expert. I could deal more damage, but this is fine. I'd rather get rid of the 1/2. If they want to do Deadly Alliance, I'm okay with that too, on our Survivor. I'd rather them use Deadly Alliance now on this than do it on my Gloom Hunter. Yeah, I think that's good news for us, actually. Like, we lose a Subtle Strike, they basically keep their 1/2 around. I think that's fine. Alright, well, Guess we'll take care of the big threat now. And get in here. Still gonna wait on that Gloom Hunter. I'd like the full value one at this point in the game. Alright, well, good opportunity to cast the Mind Drain, see what's going on. Sure. Alright. That actually worked out okay. Got rid of a couple relevant cards. Oh, Cleric's a good draw. Big threat. Alright. Still got 18 cards. It's not bad. Stomper, so we're still waiting on that 6th land. But for now, getting some damage in, which is good. I mean, if you're not blocking, then probably attacking is smarter. All right, got the 6th land. That's good. Let's get in for 4. And then we can jam the Stomper. And, I mean, I could bounce the Turn Timber Symbiosis, but we're going to be too far from casting it, I think. And I still need to do the Gloom Hunter, so I don't think we're actually bouncing any lands. Still have a decent amount of cards left in the deck, too. They got double Rune Crab in there. It's pretty good. Well, Thirst is nice. So now we can deal with Rune Crab, but I think we'll just get in for now. See what they do. All right, starting to lose their guys. That's good. I think we still have enough time to get the Gloom Hunter down there. We've kind of got him up against the ropes, so the more threats, the better. And especially since next turn we can do the Thirst. Ooh, Balagad Recovery. Does that let us win? Let's see. I can cast Recovery. So I could cast with 6 mana. I can cast Recovery plus a Thirst and a 2-drop. Is there a 2-drop I can play? I can play the Rabid Bite. So kill Skulker, kill Ruin Crab, force them to. Do I have a 1 mana thing? I could do Rebirth instead. I don't think that's better though. I can bring back the Colony, give Trample to this. Yeah, that's actually really good. Let's do the Recovery. Do the Colony. Then we're gonna Thirst the Crab. And then we play the Colony. Give the Trample to our Cleric and our Gloom Hunter, and then we get in. So then they have to double block the Cleric, which is good. And maybe they forget about the Trample. Not only did they not forget, they had a good answer for it. They must have only had 1 mana on tap. Otherwise, why wouldn't they protect their Ruined Grab? I guess they kind of saw what we were doing with the Gnarlid Colony. All right, we'll see for round 2. All right, this hand is certainly a keep. So Survivor into Survivor, maybe Rebirth to trade with something and get the counter again. Rearrange it as necessary. Well, I can always feed that to the Swarm, so I probably will. And then kind of want to build towards a Symbiosis. It seems like something I could realistically get to in this game. As good as Fortification is as a combat trick, I need the triple green to cast this. It's still early, though. I don't need to... All right. Definitely killing this. And then I guess we'll just play the Swamp and get in for 2. Not having multiple green is a bit of an issue, but it's okay. Well, Disciple's a great draw there, so... Rebirth and Disciple are actually really good synergy too, but that's okay. For now I'm thinking we just play the Fortification, play a Disciple. Would I rather have a 3-1? No, I think we want the counter, dude. Especially since we have the means to... Although, yeah, that would have actually been an opportunity to maybe take advantage of Disciple Rebirth. That's true. Maybe I should have considered that. They look like they're Golgari Landfall, maybe? All right. Digging for creatures. We're still a green and 2 more lands after that away from Symbiosis, but hey, if it finds Ooze, I'm happy. Gnarlid Colony. Yeah, that's fine. Are they just going to cast it or are they going to wait? Ooh, Mospit Skeleton. That would have been a good card for our deck. So, I guess we can attack here. Because I think what they're going to do anyway is trade and then play a kicked colony and put the skeleton back on top of their deck anyway, so... I think I'm actually going to wait on the Disciple now. Especially if it's all mapped out correctly. Like, if they put that on top of their deck, we know that next turn they're likely going to play the Mospit Skeleton. So it's probably in our best interest to just wait, play a Disciple and Rebirth the following turn. Especially since we just ripped a great, perfect draw there. And we get to smash for 6, so looks like pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, we're just gonna go for... Guess I turn on full control. Let it resolve. And then we go Rebirth. There we go. Now we can turn off full control. Sack this. They'll sack both their guys. Could sack the Survivor now, but I want to get in for 6, so I guess we'll sack Disciple. Plus, we can get Disciple back with Balagad Recovery or whatever the other thing's called, the Blood Beckoning. So I guess we can spare supplies first. Ooh, Oron Refuse. That's a great draw. Really great draw. But it's too good of an opportunity to pass up here, so let's just get in for a billion. They can put that on top. I wonder if they do. Yeah, all right. Might be good news for us. And make it a 3/3, and they're at 6 life, so it's actually fairly relevant. Let's we don't have the 3rd grain for Symbiosis yet, so I guess we can cash out spare supplies first. Shadowcat's a good draw too. Debating, I mean, Ooze is going to be better. I think it's got to be just smash with Cleric only, and then play the Ooze. Especially if their best play is going to be the Mossbit Skeleton. I mean, they can play the Skeleton as a 2-drop in a pinch, too. If they have double creature they can play this turn. Like, if they have removal plus Mossbit Skeleton, that would be pretty good for them. I mean, we've got 3 lethal creatures, so they at least have to go... I think they even know they've got to do... Yeah, so they've got a 2nd creature would be my guess. Or a removal spell. Both of those are fine. I can cast the Symbiosis here. It's best use of mana, but I think it's got to be Shadowcat because we can sack whatever they possibly have removal for. And they kind of have to do it now before it resolves, so no surprises, which is kind of nice. Like, they've got to do their thing. They wouldn't have cast the Skeleton as a 2-drop unless they had something. So it forces them to do their thing. So they get us pretty good. Good news is they didn't really trick us that much. And I'm still happy to get in with my 2 guys here, so that's the good news. And we're going to be drawing, so that's also good news. And we got the recovery, so we can even get it back if I want. Question is, do I want to get that back? I want to use the 3 mana this turn, that is for sure. So it's got to be getting the Ooze back, right? I can do Disciple to make them sack the thing. I don't think that matters. It might. I could do Rabid Bite instead. Could do Feed the Swarm. No, I think we get the Ooze back. And the reason that we get the Ooze back is we can actually put the counter on the Shadowcat, and then it's lethal. I guess we put it on the Survivor, because then both of our creatures are lethal. If they have removal, they kind of have to kill the Shadowcat, yeah. Alright, so kind of a mirror match, but... No, it's a mirror match, and they have Inscription, which is really good. With some landfall stuff, some random... They've got quite a bit of top end, actually. It looks like they have more top end than we do. Broken Wings. Does this deal with stuff? I don't think so. I might want this Oblivion's Hunger. because they have Inscription. Not that it really stops Inscription all that well, but I think it makes sense. And then, like before, maybe just cut the spare supplies. I could see doing another Mind Drain, actually. Just because they have quite a bit of top end. Like, they're going to be holding on to that Inscription for dear life. They have Dreadworm, Baloth. They want to kick stuff. Might be in our best interest. So maybe cut the spare supplies. Is Vanquish good here? Vanquish deals with some of their stuff. Not a ton, though. I could see cutting Vanquish and probably being okay with it. Is Rabid Bite good enough? I mean, it's probably a similar argument to Vanquish, where we need to actually have a good body out there in order to successfully Vanquish, but probably keep it around. I guess Mind Drain's not as good against Moss-Pit Skeleton, but it's actually still fine against it. They have to put it on top of their deck, so it still takes away their draw and a card in their hand. Yeah, it's probably fine. Definitely a keep. A little bit slow, but Blade. Okay. Because technically that does foil some of the cards that we're trying to use here. Oh, Rebirth. Well, Rebirth's a good draw. Might have to play the Fortification as a land. Same kind of plan as before. Hope that build towards that Symbiosis plan. Can also play Symbiosis as a land technically because I could have held back a turn on this in case they have Subtle Strike, but I guess we'll wait till we see it. Even if I did wait back a turn, they could still kill that in response to the land, so it doesn't really work. Oh, they have Nissa in there too. Wow. Well, Oran Refuse is a good draw. We'll play it and leave up Malakir Rebirth, I guess. So if the land has Menace though, so I don't think that's gonna work. Probably gonna block the Blight Blade. They might not even attack with the Blight Blade. Just try to protect Nissa. Oh, well, I'm glad they attacked with the Blight Blade. I mean, really can't afford to lose a ton of life here, but I'm losing 2 life anyway, so I guess it makes sense. Survivor. I wonder what our best play here is. I kind of need the second green if I want to stop the Menace. Like, I can protect my Ooze. I have 1 card left. I can't really afford to pay 3 life because that puts me in lethal range for the colony. So I wonder if that means I just... Yeah, it probably means I just play the Survivor as a 1/1, pump the Ooze, and then probably just play the land tapped. And then next turn I can do the Stomper. This way we could block the Menace land. Or I can chump... Well, chumping the colony doesn't do much because it's got trample. All right, he's attacking with the colony, so we're going to take it. Because I can't really chump it anyway. So we go to 3. Mucklord, all right. And then brings the Blight Blade back, which is an interesting choice. So that was actually a good draw. Let's see what we can do here. So I definitely want to kill Nissa, but they can double block. So I don't think that's going to work too well for me. And I don't quite have the mana to play Stomper, bounce the fortification, and play it. I might just... I wonder, does Gloom Hunter keep me alive? Brings me up to 6. I think it does, actually, so we'll do that. And we'll pass. I think the fact that the Blightblade has Death Touch Trample, though, might put us in a squirrely spot. Wonder if that means I should attack with the Ooze. And then they double block and I kill the Blightblade. I want to keep the Ooze, but the Trample Death Touch, I think, it's what's going to get us here. If I keep it back, that's not good for us either. Yeah, I think I get in here. And we'll just have to kill the Blightblade. I guess they also... Well, they can also not block here. But then they can't use Nissa to make the 3/3 Menace. They might get us either way. I don't know. Like, if they don't block, they have 3 attackers. This has Death Touch Trample. They do block. They keep Nissa around and get the Menace attacker. I'm out of timeouts, so I couldn't think about it too much longer, but yeah, the fact that had Death Touch Trample, I think, is actually kind of a big deal. So if we double block the colony, I definitely would attack with the Mucklord too. I'm surprised they didn't. So we can double block the Menace Forest, and then they just kill the Gloom Hunter and leave me with a Survivor. I don't know if that's better for us. Oblivion's Hunger. Not quite gonna do it. Guess we can return these two. And I can play the land and leave up Fortification, but that's not gonna be good enough here. So let's see. They've got Nissa. She's gonna be a little more challenging. Vanquish lets me deal with Menace lands, but it's not worth it. Oh, let's see. Broken Wing's still not doing anything. I'm still kind of okay with Oblivion's Hunger and Malakir Rebirth. Rebirth's better because they've got the Subtle Strike. Oblivion's Hunger doesn't actually protect against that, but it's okay. Yeah, I think we stick to the plan here. All right, well, we can keep this. Sand is fine. Can always get that back at some point with our Stomper, I guess. All right, well, Mind Drain, not a bad draw. Guess if they play a Mospit Skeleton, I can always pump up. Yeah, can make my Survivor bigger now. That's good. All right. Cleric's not a bad draw either, so let's deal with this feller now. And I guess we'll get in. I think that trade's actually okay. We have those two sacrifice 3/1 dudes in our deck, so kind of makes more sense to me. Oh, Oblivion's Hunger. It's actually a really nice draw. Draw the... That's good. So I could Balagad Recovery, but I want it as a land right now, so then we can play the Cleric or the Stomper next turn, potentially. So Constrictor lets us get some damage in. But for now, I think we just do the Cleric. Best use of mana. Kind of sets up for a Mind Drain next turn. Potentially Mind Drain Constrictor next turn, which is good. Especially if their best play is just drop a 5/5. Yeah. Now at least we get rid of their hand, which is good news for us. We'll do that right now. Got rid of a Rabid Bite too. It's relevant. So let's hold off. Just a land away from this Stomper. I wonder if I return the... I need the 2 green, so unless I draw a green mana, I can't really bounce the Symbiosis if I play the Stomper. So if they attack with Skeleton, say they have like Subtle Strike, they could bring it down so I have 6 Kind of feel like I just take it though. And attack back with the cleric. Actually, constrictor follow-up is gonna be... It's gonna be really good. So, not the best use of mana here, but in case of Subtle Strike, I think it's worth it. So I can play the colony here too, unkicked. Which doesn't seem as good. Kind of have him on the ropes though. Yeah, and I have the Stomper follow-up. I guess I'm going to do it. It also gives our guys trample, not totally irrelevant. Puts it in a more tricky spot for them, I think. Alright, so they have 3 blockers now. I feel as though they have the Subtle Strike, but none of our guys actually die to Subtle Strike, so I think this is okay. And a Shadow Cat draw too, that's just perfect. So bash with everything. They have to double block each of our... They can block the colony. No, I think this is definitely good. They can do Subtle Strikes. And potentially just take 5, which is probably what they're going to do. But they can only block one of our +1/+1 counter guys, so I feel as though it's just Subtle Strike. Maybe they don't have it though. I guess we sack the Gnarlid Colony because it's gonna die anyway. Could have the Subtle Strike here. If they do, they did have it. I don't know if it matters that much. We still draw a card, which I guess we can play. Maybe if they rip a land, I still don't think they have enough. They don't have lethal though. Even with a land, we stop 4 of it. So they can only deal 12? I suppose I didn't have to attack with the Gnarlid Colony there. Wonder if that's just better for us. Because we didn't threaten lethal with just these 2. It's probably true. If they attack with everything, we'll just block the Gnarlid Colony. If they have Might of Marasa, they win. Regardless of whether I block or not, but I'm happy to try and trade a thing here. Let's say... Well, if they have Might of Marasa, they win anyway, so I probably just take 10. Guess this puts us in Zoth consumption range. Though I didn't see that the first 2 games. Alright. Somehow still got there. So we'll see in round 3. Alright, this is a keep. good hand. We can go Florahedron into turn 3 Ooze with Rebirth Protection too, which is nice. So I like that. Subtle Strike's good. Shadow Stinger. It's an interesting one. Let's do the, I guess we're kind of telegraphing here, but it's okay. So we can block the ambusher. They can't even really kill it, which is nice. Can Millis 3, I guess. Symbiosis is another land. I guess we can play that as a... Let's see what we can do here. We can go Survivor plus leave up the Subtle Strike. Or I can attack with Florahedron. That's probably better. Just get the beats going now. Yeah, I kind of like that, actually. Guess I can still leave up Subtle Strike if I want. I don't think I need to, though. So it probably makes sense to just go Survivor, pump the Florahedron. Get in. Be ahead on the race. Play the... Yeah, play the Symbiosis as a land. We're a ways away from that anyway. Can vanquish the Shadow Stinger. Got rid of 3 spells there. Alright, they had another removal spell, so I can't deal with that one. But we can, guess, get in for 5 here if we want. I think spreading the counters is probably better. And guess I can hit Shadow Stinger or Ambusher, but we don't need to do it right now, so let's just hang out. Could also leave the Shadow Stinger back to try and block. But we have the Subtle Strike for that, so kind of okay with that too. Let's see here. Definitely taking 5. Then I guess we vanquish the Shadow Stinger. Cleric's a good draw. Let's guess just get in for 3 this turn. Because I'm playing the Cleric, so this is better. I guess we die to an Ordinary Rage, so we'll probably block. Well, Hellion, it's a little bit, makes it a little bit more challenging. Well, we could double block. I suppose we do. So, well, they put this one first, so. Yeah, that worked out pretty well. Well, I wonder if it's in our best interest to wait. Like, I can attack with Florahedron, they can take and go to 1, crack back with both. I think we want to double block the Skitter Sneak, though, but I'm not sure. I mean, we have 4 survivors. I think we have to take this. Because I can win with like a Hydra Constrictor, or I can win with a removal spell. I think we have to risk taking this. All right. So looks like we lose playing against Black-Red. They've got Royal Eruption, Thundering Rebuke. So once again, we can bring in the Oblivion's Hunger. I think I want to bring in the... I almost feel like I want to bring in the Mind Drain too. They actually have quite a bit of more mid and top range cards than I would have expected. So we'll bring the Mind Drain, we'll bring in the Hunger, cut the Spare Supplies, cut the... Well, Vanquish deals with Night Runner, Ambusher, maybe Skitter Sneak. Not the Hellions, not the Shatter Skull. Does deal with the Stinger. I might want to cut the Feed the Swarm, actually. Could see cutting Feed the Swarm. I can't really... I feel like I can't afford to pay that much life in this match. Most of the time, it's probably true. Okay. Play first. Yeah, I think we keep this. We don't have black mana, we don't have our third land, but just the chance of being able to go Survivor into Ooze and maybe getting that engine going is definitely worth it. Well, I wonder if I wait until I can leave up Oblivion's Hunger. That very well could be worth it. Yeah, I think it actually is. Just because we know they have quite a few removal spells in there, so this is kind of just a safer way to do it. Plus, I can play a Disciple and sack the Survivor. That seems good to me, too. Yeah, so now we can play the Symbiosis as a tap land. Play the Disciple. Sack the Survivor. Get in with the Survivor. pass. So the next turn we can go Ooze, leave up Hunger, and that's pretty good. Sure. Stomper's good too. So let's just get in with both, I think. Kind of want to see how they block anyway. Kind of okay with this trade. Yeah. So we trade that, get into 3. And then we play the Ooze. And that way they, into the Royal or whatever, we can make it indestructible, draw a card. No play, huh? Well, that was unexpected. We're definitely going to play the Stomper now. And I guess we can return the Turn Timber. Still a couple lands away from doing it, but it seems worth it. All right, Florahedron's pretty good too. So bash with team here. Yeah, not in really a great position to do much there. Didn't have to show them Oblivion's Hunger, which is always nice. Still have a chance to use that Feed the Swarm. I just, obviously in this game, it worked out okay. It does have a good amount of targets where I only have to pay 2 life. But 2 life is significant in these matchups. It definitely is. I have Broken Wings, I guess. It just deals with Gloom Hunter. It's not worth it, I don't think. Surprisingly, I've had 3 matchups where Broken Wings was irrelevant, so I guess that's a good argument for why not to main deck it. That's pretty unusual, though. I would say Broken Wings has targets most of the time. Yeah, the choice is Feed the Swarm, and I don't know what to bring it in for. Like, I'm basically bringing in a removal spell I'm going to have to pay life for, and taking out something I probably don't want to, so I think we'll run it back. This is good. Certainly worthy of keeping. And I think we will probably just play the Recovery as a land. I don't have to, but I can always get it back later. And I probably want to hit my land drops for this Scythe Cat. So I can go Survivor into Constrictor too, which is kind of nice. If I so desire. Might actually just make more sense to do the Scythe Cat now. No, I want to be able to protect it. All right, we'll do the Constrictor. Get our Menace going. So then next turn we can play Scythe Cat and leave up Rebirth. Oh wait, we can't do that because of the way I tap my lands. Whoops. Well, the good news is they can't block, so I guess it worked out okay. But bad news is I'm not leaving up Rebirth, which is not ideal. Well, thankfully they didn't have the removal, so it worked out. And we got a Bloodchief's Thirst, which is really nice. So let's go land. Yeah, we just Bloodchief's Thirst the Lagak. Uses all my black mana. Ah, so be it. I maybe should have played the Rebirth as a land because I could have played Stomper next turn. I didn't think that one completely through either. I was thinking Rebirth would be valuable to play, but having a Stomper next turn and being able to, and just returning Rebirth, yeah, I should have played my tap land. Especially since I can't even use Rebirth this turn anyway. Yeah, and they had the blocker too, so. Well, Ooze is a good draw. That's nice. And they don't have anything left. That's also nice. So I guess we just go for the full... We're going for the full shebang here. Yeah, and we play the Rebirth. Because next turn we bounce Swamp and Rebirth. And we can play it and protect still, so that's pretty good. Well, maybe we can't now. But they have to leave. They have to be able to double block, which they can't really easily do. That attack makes sense. I mean, clearly I have to attack, so. That's interesting choice. Not killing the... That seems like a mistake. I mean, maybe not. If they just rip removal. Alright. Well, we got there anyway. I made a couple mistakes that game, but thankfully not costly ones. Or didn't end up being costly in the end, so that's cool. And we won with Golgari counters, which doesn't happen that often, so that's good. Alright. Alright. 3-0. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you for the next one.